Hi guys, Katie Francis here. I hope you're all doing super well. In this video, we're taking a look at the Jamaica Constabulary Force's social media strategy and how they have successfully created a social media campaign that has seen a significant increase in the reporting of crime. Tactically, they have used a combination of popular culture and emotive language to engage audiences on platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram in a deliberate effort to shift public's perception about the institution and influence behavior, particularly around how we view crime and how we report crime. And these viral posts have been incredibly effective. In a very short period of time, the JCF has reported an impressive 70% increase in the reporting of crime that they're directly contributing to this campaign. Law enforcement bodies using social media as a crime fighting tool is not unusual, it is not new. But what is remarkable in this instance is that it is not just about the criminal element, it is more of an effort to re engineer and rebuild relationships. I can imagine it would be difficult for the JCF to establish trust relationships with the citizenry, given the generational issues that these two groups have had with each other. But as I said earlier, the campaign seemed to be working because the response has overwhelmingly been positive. There has been criticisms, however, and for the most part, the criticisms are that the campaigns are gimmicky, but to my mind, they conflate gimmicks, which is something that is unserious, with youth culture, which is popular culture. And I think if we were to go into a discourse about how the government communicates and how relatable they are with the youth, I think that's where the divide tends to happen because youth culture is not seen as serious. But that's for a whole nother video and for a whole nother channel, to be quite honest with you. But I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Do you agree that it is gimmicky or do you think it is effective? Do you think it has been impactful in any way? Leave your comments down below. This video is a replay from one of my digital marketing classes where Inspector Sean J. Mitchell, who is the head of digital communications at the JCF, sat down with my class to explain the thought process behind the campaign and how they've gone about developing the content for their social media platform. I hope you enjoy this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time.
Our social media posts are not a run of the mill. Every single post is strategic. It's aligned to a strategic objective. So we operate on 7 strategic priorities. And the 7th priority is improving communication and public engagement. That's one of our priorities. But in addition to that, this priority is essentially what I'd call a supporting priority, where it supports crime reduction and control as our #1 strategic priority. It supports improvement in public safety and citizen security. It supports enhancing staff welfare. It supports organizational restructuring. It supports professional standards. So our communication program or package is not of a whim. So we link everything to our strategic priorities, and that's how we decide and determine the type of content we're going to be using and the type of engagement we want to get from that content. It's using information to influence persons. So you want to influence people, you want a shift in behavior, you want more interaction, you want to build trust. So you use the concept of information ops to diminish your competitor. So this concept is used by militaries, it's really a military term, but it's really about influencing. So Ukraine wants to influence the world to come on their side, support their campaign in defending themselves against Russia. And they use that now to appeal to the psyche of people, the emotions, because really and truly you want a kind of an emotional rather than a rational response. Note, not social media marketing, but social marketing, which is behavior change. You want to change some behavior. Which behavior the JCF is trying to change? Inform of the dead. That has been a part of the culture since 1970s all the way up to now, where Jamaicans believe that if you are informer, you're dead. And that has been made very popular in our music, in our regular day-to-day dealings with each other. And once somebody shares information about something that they know, we call them an informer. An informer must dead. No, these social media campaigns are being designed to normalize the sharing of information. It must be second nature. The quickest, if you see something happening in your community, the first thing you should think, 311, let me call crime stop. So that's the concept behind the campaigns. We are killing the informer of the dead, if you will. I went to my commander and I asked, showed her the post, and I said, what do you get from this? And she says to me, why am I gonna get it? I said, all right. I went to another person, a senior person again, and I showed her and said, what do you get from this? And said, no, I'm gonna get it. I laughed and I said, that's because you are not my target audience. Not every piece of content that I design, or the team designs rather, is for everybody. So you know what I did? I asked him to walk with me, and I went inside of the office space and I went to two of the younger persons. I said, yo, look at this, what do you get from it? And immediately bursted out laughing. And I was like, there you go. Not everything that is designed for everybody. So you must know how you're segmenting your audience. And as I said, everything is strategic in nature. Who are the main perpetrators of violence in our country? Who are the main victims of violence in our country? Who are the persons who are more likely to be involved in criminal activities? Younger people. So when you segment the campaign using pop culture, lines from popular songs, or regular jargons that people use every day in everyday language, you're appealing to a certain segment of the audience. Crime Stop is quite easy to remember. 311. So on all of our posts, there's a call to action. And when you're designing your campaigns for on social media, you must include a call to action. Know that you've laughed, know that you've interacted with the content, know that you've shared the content with your friends and everybody's having a laugh, and know everybody's running over to JCF's account because JCF is them carry some nice content where every day they give me a little laugh. But there's a call to action. There is in fact a call to action. So you need to create a call to action. The end of the post, if it's possible, embed it in the graphic itself or the video that you're using. Say, call XX, whatever the number is, for more information. Interested in our product? Call us at X and Y. So there's always a call to action so people remember. So you put your call to action consistently in your posts, and then you'll see some changes. So we have seen increased engagement through creative content design. And I say creative content design because if you just look at these four that I have on the screen here, we tend to limit the amount of text on the post itself. We try to use bold text, so it's easy to remember. And if you notice, I use a lot of dark background or dark images because you want to remain consistent throughout. So people see this, they know it's JCF you're talking about. So we tend to use the same text, the same dark image throughout the content designs. This was done minutes after the Prime Minister had announced that the COVID restrictions would be ending. Minutes. So I was in office listening to PBC, and he made the announcement, and I'm like, how can I jump on this bandwagon right away? And I sat down and I came up and I said, I remember everybody, I said, boy, the gate fly. It's like, all right. So that's a term that's being used. You know, people are repeated. So it's something that resonates with people. And so the gate fly. So I say, what can I do? Give up the gunmen and breath in peace. Everybody say, yes. So this post, as I said, was done minutes after the Prime Minister made the announcement, and it went viral. It was like within an hour, we had almost 5,000 interactions with that one post on Instagram, and over 1,000 plus shares and retweets on Twitter. Facebook had about roughly about 2,000 interactions with that post. And so you have to look at what's happening on the ground. There'll always be something happening. Look at what's happening on the ground, and then you design your post around what's happening, especially something that's happening now. You want to jump on it. So yes, Will Smith boxed on Chris Rock. How can you use that? Flip it in a positive way and drop it on your brand. Again, the lecturer spoke about not everything is a fit for every single brand. So you must know what you can do with your brand. There's something else I want to tell you about. When you're writing your captions, try and be creative in your captions. Because a lot of these posts, by themselves, you won't readily get it. While a few people will automatically cling to it and get it right out just by the post. Generally speaking, the captions is what we use to sell the post. So you have to be creative in your thinking, creative in your writing to get people to remember your posts. And of course, boy, Joseph, no easy. Who will write them caption? Well, no, but tell nobody say no. But the captions are important. So this one Unwanted Wednesdays, I remember writing this caption. This guy was black, then he was white, then he was brown. And the caption says, whether black, white, or brown, in JCF I go find you. Right? And I remember the laughter that it caused online, because I don't know if you know the song, whether yellow, black, and white, they are precious in his sight, that type of song. You know, a children's song, but that was the thinking at the time, because this man started off as a dark-skinned man, then him bleach out and turn white, and then him get brown. Was the same person, one person. And the caption went on to say, yes, this is Richard Bob Higgins. We're not looking at three different people, it's the same person. That was also in the caption. This particular video, when we posted it on Valentine's Day.
Some may prefer chocolates and roses for this Valentine, but we are into law and order. Celebrate love better this year by giving up the criminals in your community. We know you know them.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Let's lessen our violent experiences, live our values every day, and leave out violence every time. It's time for love.
Right. So this particular video was a catalyst on Valentine's Day. To be honest, I shot this video last year and I wanted to use it for Valentine's Day last year. And after it was shot, it took me some time to go through the edits, make some suggestions. And then it got late in the day. I was like, all right, I'm about to post it. I just keep that in file 13. So kept it. Valentine's Day this year. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try my luck with that video. And I'm going to try my luck. So I went to my commander again. I said to her, look, watch this video. What do you think about it? And she said, boy, look, I look around. She's still in it. So I'm going to go around the room and I shared it with other people. And then my director came and she said, you know what? I like it. From last year with it, just upload it. If anything, with a lick it. And I just said, all right, say no more. Because, you know, I came up with a concept, I designed it, had the team shoot it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go with it. So I put it out there. And man, oh man, this took off like it had a mind of its own. And I remember how people were like, no, sir, JC, I don't want to look a bit too close. But for the most part, when we look through the comments, there are a lot of comments, both, well, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, there are a lot of comments. I read through the comments. Qualitatively, the comments were extremely positive. A lot of kudos for stepping outside of the box. Now, this is not something that you'd expect from a police organization. Tell the truth. You wouldn't expect this from no police organization across the world. But guess what? The Jamaica Constabulary Force did that. We did that. The only organization, as far as I can recall, and as far as my research goes, that actually did something like this, actually stepped outside of the box. You know, so don't limit your thinking to a box. Yes, there are parameters, and then your brand represents this and your brand represents that, but think outside of the box. Toe the line sometimes. Take risks. You must be willing to take a risk, you know. If it works, it works. If it don't work, it just don't work. Unfortunately, in the social media space, sometimes your brand can take a big hit and it don't recover for a long time. But you must be willing to take risks. And again, test your campaigns. If it's something that you think is going to be controversial, test the campaign. Test it with other people. Find a group of friends and test the campaign with them. Bring some people in our local room and show them the campaign and say, oh, this is what we have planned for the campaign. Tell us what you think about it. Get your approvals and then go ahead with it. So yes, give us the wanted men. This was a part of the silhouette challenge last year. I remember that was big on TikTok last year, silhouette challenge. So I figured that we could do something that that's quite similar to the silhouette challenge. See, I'm like a red room backlight. It's kind of sexy. But at the end of the day, it's just a policewoman walking down with a handcuff in her hand. There's no alterations. There's nothing that she did to her body. It's just a regular policewoman walking down a hallway, put a filter over the image, and we just put in the music in the back. And that put the campaign out there. So outside of the laughs and the giggles and all of that, you must remember why you are doing what you're doing. So there was an overall 97% increase in tips to Crime Stop as at April 31st. No, not April, March 31st rather. I haven't got the latest stats yet. As at March 31st, there was an overall 97% increase in calls to Crime Stop. And people are calling about guns, gunmen, and gangs. What have we been asking people to call in about? Guns, gunmen, and gangs. So when you look at it, there's a direct correlation between what we are asking people to do and what people are doing. So now this is your quantitative analysis coming in. So quantitatively, we can say the campaigns have been very successful. No. So the KPIs, key performance indicators, says 97% increase in cost of Crime Stop. But what else have we seen? And now the intended outcomes. We have recovered almost twice as many firearms this year compared with last year. No, Can you look and say that's a direct correlation to these campaigns? I don't know. You tell me. So we're asking people to call in about the riot in a people's backyard. And bear in mind, there is, in fact, a reward scheme in place for information, not for the gun. I'm just scared that up. It's not another gun you sell with. It's information leading to the recovery of the firearm. So you get paid for the information that you share, right? So there's a direct correlation to say that we have been asking our followers to share information on the guns, particularly rifles. And this year we've seized 100% more rifles than last year. Twice as many rifles this year than what we seized last year. No, again, you tell me, is there a direct correlation to these campaigns? Again, outside of the laughs and the giggles and the shares and the engagements online, the intended outcomes of the Jamaica Constabulary Force have been met. And I did start off this presentation by saying that we operate on 7 strategic priorities. And the 7 strategic priorities includes the primary one, crime reduction and control. And in order to reduce crime, given the fact that firearms are mostly used in the commission of a crime in Jamaica, especially murders, and we seize more firearms this year than last year. And our campaigns are showing that that point of inflection, meaning where we started to see an uptick in tips and uptick in the number of seizures, started around about the time when the campaign started. So don't ever discount the value of information sharing online or the value of social media, the value of online media. Don't ever discount it, because you can look at the key performance indicators and you can look at your intended outcomes. Are they being met? If the answer to that question is yes, continue to work along the same line. Maybe further on in the campaign, we might have a redesigning or a reintegration, and we might push it from another level, but it's a similar type campaign that will continue. Over 200% engagement with the content on the JCF pages. So between January and up to this weekend, the JCF's Instagram account has grown by about 40,000+ new followers. A very short span of time. And we've grown our account. Twitter has well over 100,000 people following us on Twitter. And when we started the year, we had 75,000 people who started the year with on Twitter. And now we have over 100,000. Facebook, similarly, we've grown over 20 or 30,000 on Facebook as well. So now this shows that qualitatively, there's more support for the police because the calls are coming in. 2, there is more seizures in firearms. 3, there is an overall reduction in major crimes. Unfortunately, for the month of March, there was a slight uptick in murders at 0.6%. But it's something that we are going to arrest. Yes, I'm using arrest and bring it back down in this month. Because when you do the comparative periods, it's difficult to compare when you have a low month last year versus a high month this year. So we're going to arrest that and bring it back down because we started the year low. So it shows the effectiveness of these campaigns. It's not just about laughs and giggles and chats.